Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game So today I got a fun and random video for you guys today because we're taking a look at Sega Rally 2, but the PC version of the game on the 25th Anniversary Repack. This came out this year and basically it takes the PC executable from back in the day, fixes up absolutely everything about it, lets you have any resolution or otherwise visual feature you want, and just makes the game incredibly easy to play on modern platforms. And honestly, one more way to play one of Sega's best arcade racing games of all time is going to be good in my opinion. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. Now, Sega Rally 2, the original PC version of the game, always had some really uneven frame pacing, and while we do have the Supermodel emulator for this as well because it started life on the Sega Model 3, having a PC native version is absolutely awesome, and I will say right now, all of the modification work to get this running on modern systems with these frame rates is absolutely stunning. In my entire playthrough of this game, I had absolutely no visual issues whatsoever, no glitches, no frame pacing issues or hitches. It just 100% worked, and the best thing is, at least in my opinion, they've added in and patched up the entire rumble and haptic feedback system, so you, if you use a wheel or even an analog controller, are going to get a very granular feel of every surface that you're racing against, every single piece of tarmac, sandstone or otherwise, and it really is going to make it feel that much closer to the arcade original. Now of course this is Sega Rally 2, so it is one of the best arcade racing games in my opinion, and honestly, as far as rally racing games go, I would say this is the best ever made, and having it run on Windows 10 or Windows 11 with no issues whatsoever, it's just an absolute blast of a time. It's going to use different versions of Reshade and a bunch of different mods to basically just make it feel like perfection, and that's exactly what it is. And honestly, with a wheel and pedal set and X input, this thing just absolutely excels, being able to kind of feather that brake and gas to get around a corner drifting, to be able to crank the wheel when you end up in a hairpin turn. I've never felt this game feel this good on a native PC version, and that again is because everything has basically been considered, from the graphics to how it runs to everything else. This just feels like something that could have come out this year, minus the fact that obviously the graphics are not 2025 standard, and I am playing this in 4:3 its native aspect ratio because it just works in that respect. And this is something we've seen with Outrun 2 as well, getting that native Windows version of the game just completely modernized and running so much better, and I love that modders out there are doing these things because honestly, playing Sega Rally 2, if you've never played it before, is absolutely a must, and the Dreamcast version of the game was a very poor port compared to the Sega Model 3 original, and I've definitely done videos on the Supermodel version of the game, and that is amazing as well, but having more than one option is a ton of fun, and this one definitely just looks so good on a modern machine. And of course, like I said, it is just Sega Rally 2, but you're going to get all the extra features that the PC version of the game had, because if you go over to the Sega Model 3, you're just getting the arcade game and the arcade feature set. If you move over to the PC version of the game, you're getting that console feature set, except you're getting it in a much better version to play than Dreamcast. And don't get me wrong, I love the Sega Dreamcast, and I love being able to play it both on real hardware as well as via emulation, but the PC version is going to beat any emulator out there, even with the enhancements in my opinion. As we go into the first person mode, again, just look how fluid this game is. If you don't remember playing this on PC back in the day, trust me, this fluidity was just not there. This is going to use stuff like DG Voodoo and a bunch of other plugins and different modifications to make the game run on modern graphics cards and look correct. Sure, the lighting model has a little bit of a pop in, but that's part of the original game because draw distances back then were not as good as they are now. But outside of that one little bit of pop in on the lighting model, I really don't see anything at all that makes me think that this isn't doing anything other than exactly what it should, and doing it about the best possible way. And it is fun to have these projects because they do keep these games alive, both for fans that loved it back in the day, but also for people that have maybe never played Sega Rally 2 before and want to check it out. And I will leave a link in the description below where you can find this, because trust me, it is absolutely worth playing. A lot of the soundtrack has been fixed up as well. There's been some sound glitches in the original version of the game that are no longer here in Sega Rally 2 Anniversary Edition, and obviously that's my segue to the first soundtrack sample. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, and I'll come back and tell you a lot more about the fixes in this game. And not only is the soundtrack to this game incredible, and not only does it sound amazing coming out of the 25th Anniversary Repack, but it actually works because the previous version of this, the actual PC release, if you try to play it on a modern platform, you would get no music whatsoever. Not only did the modifiers go in and make sure the music played, but they even sourced the highest quality recordings for every single soundtrack and added it into the game, so you're getting better sound quality than you would have on a period PC back in the day that was designed to run Sega Rally 2, because again, if you try to play it on anything modern, the music would just basically play for like 2 seconds and drop out, or at least it did last time I tried, but that was probably like 7 or 8 years ago. And as we race around the final course here, I just love how good the graphics look here on a modern GPU with DG Voodoo involved. It's one of those things that has that aesthetic from when it came out, but that aesthetic still looks absolutely incredible. And as far as resolution, this will render at whatever your monitor is, it's going to adhere to it. Now I use ultra wide, so I definitely had a little bit at the left and right as far as some of the overlays are concerned that weren't really useful for the video, but it is just a bezel that you can totally decide to turn off if you want. And you'll see here I have to look on an envy as the winners celebrate, and I basically sit back in 10th place because this is still Sega Rally 2, so even on easy mode you're going to have to basically race perfectly if you ever want to get a first place finish. But of course we have time trial mode as well on some of the additional courses where you're going to be able to select your different routes through them. But this is what I love about Sega fans. They go out there and they think to themselves, if there is a game, we can make it better. We can make sure it's preserved for all time. Because even though it wasn't hard to find Sega Rally 2 for PC, it just didn't work for crap. It was basically just an annoying thing to even try to play. And of course you can emulate the Dreamcast version, but again, that is my least favorite way to play Sega Rally. And honestly, on this Anniversary Repack, I think this is now my favorite way to play it. Sure, I love the Model 3 look on Supermodel, but all of the extra features here just give you more Sega Rally to enjoy, and that always makes a difference. And you're going to get the same exact settings menu that you would in the PC executable, because that's exactly what this is, just a more modern version of it. But again, with this fog here drifting around the corners, seeing the back of that Toyota get dirty with the mud, this is just Sega at their absolute finest and best. And still to this day, even though the graphics have aged, the game has not in any way, shape, or form, and still stands toe to toe with some of the best arcade racing games ever made, even in the modern era. You leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you play the version of PC back in the day, or did you basically just play the Dreamcast version? Because I feel like most people probably won't know that there was even a PC version outside of people that didn't have a Dreamcast and picked it up. Because that's something that Sega was doing for the longest time, making PC versions of some of their best games, so if you didn't own their consoles, you could still buy their games. Long before Dreamcast left the market and Sega went third party, they would still be a third party publisher of their games on PC in part. But honestly, I just love stuff like this. It just brings the game back to life. It makes it feel modern and new, but also nostalgic and classic at the same time. But we're going to do soundtrack sample number 2 because again, I can't stress enough just how high the quality is in this new version of the game. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds and I'll be right back with more.
150, very long, easy right. 150, caution, K left. 100, very long, easy right. 70, caution, hairpin left. 100, caution, K right. 70, narrow, easy right, easy left. 100, long, medium right, maybe. 200, long, easy right. Long, medium left, maybe. Narrow, bridge. 100.
Amazing soundtrack and amazing sound effects, because back in the day and even now, Sega's musicians and sound design team could just absolutely give you a soundscape that feels like you're actually there. And again, if you tried to play the original PC release on a modern system, you wouldn't even get the soundtrack in the first place. You'd just be racing around in silence. But Sega Rally 2 PC 25th Anniversary Repack Edition does absolutely everything right. It modernizes the game, lets it run in any resolution, and it has it run stably on Windows 10 or 11, because the old version had some terrible frame pacing issues and even dips where there shouldn't be any. And honestly, last time I even tried to use it, I probably crashed it 3 or 4 times as far as the executable is concerned. I played this from start to finish for multiple hours and I've not encountered a single crash, a single issue. All I've done is sit down and enjoy the game exactly as I want to, because trust me, this is a Hall of Fame first bout level good game that you need to play. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.